In our last episode of Sailing Nervous after a great day, sailing across the Pamlico, we arrived safely at our destination for the evening.
Ah, safe dockage, what a relief. But when I went downstairs to turn the engine off, I saw something that really concerned me. Then I think we have a problem.
What's going on?
There is a lot of diesel fuel in the engine bilge.
All right, well, let's take a look and see what's going on. Because after all, this is quite a bit of fuel, and this should not be here.
We leaked a lot of engine fuel.
You know, a little bit of leaking oil and a little bit of leaking fuel may be okay. After all, this is an old, venerable engine from 1983. However, too much oil leaking and certainly too much fuel is a serious sign that something's wrong. First task is to identify the source of the leak. So we start with the fuel tank itself. Some of these old fuel tanks can degrade and deposit its contents in the bilge. So we start there, then we're going to go down the fuel line, make sure there's no holes in it, make sure that the connections are all tight, follow it down into the fuel lift pump, and then through the pipes that lead around to the fuel filter, then into the fuel injection pump, and see if we can identify the source of this fuel leak.
Okay, so then I think there's a possibility that the fuel is leaking from here. This is really wet with fuel. Do you see that? It looks like maybe it's even a gasket here.
Okay,
Right there. Put your finger there.
Okay, now I'm going to just film it first.
And it looks like a cloth or a gasket coming out between the metal pieces.
Okay, so what are you seeing in there?
So that handle, there's a drip at the very bottom of the handle that it's possible it's a pink drip.
Is that it?
Yes, that's the drip.
All right, let me get down on my back and I'll look. We were able to identify the fuel was leaking from the fuel injection pump. Not sure exactly where on the fuel injection pump because it was kind of hard to ascertain. But the fuel injection pump is kind of a high-tech piece of equipment in that the fuel is pressurized and it has to be calibrated correctly, and it brings the fuel up into the fuel injectors. So not really sure if this is going to be a do-it-yourself project or not. However, there is a part of the fuel injection where the fuel is not under pressure, and if it's in that area, then we may be able to fix it. But we're not sure exactly where in the fuel injection the leak is actually coming from or why it would be leaking. So we took out our schematic that we have from our Thornycraft T90 engine, and then I also wrote a letter to my owners group, which then referred me to a forum in Europe which focuses on this particular engine. It's called a BMC 1.5, and we have a marinized version of it, which is called the Thornycraft T90, but it's basically a BMC 1.5, which is a very popular diesel engine, especially in the narrow boats in Europe, and especially in England. So we found a great forum where I was able to connect with a mechanic, someone that is an expert in the BMC 1.5. So what he advised was to clean up the engine really well, and then start the engine, let it run, and then we'd be able to ascertain more accurately where the leak is coming from. So that's what we did. First, we got to clean it up because, you know, it's not cool to have diesel fuel or oil in your engine bilge, because if your engine bilge pump goes off, that fuel is going to be spewed out into the waterways, and that's totally illegal, and there are very high fines. So we had to clean the fuel out before that happens, and that's the first order of business.
That's a mess. Oh dear.
A lot of fuel.
Maybe we should just put another absorber down there?
Or we should just start pumping it. Yeah, that's nasty, isn't it? Don't forget it. Living the life.
Yeah, you got it.
Cool.
Now, there's still some nasty up there if you want me to stick my hand down there and get that other yucky stuff.
No, don't worry about it. Are you living the life?
Which life is that?
The glamorous sailboat life. You're living the life.
Oh, strawberry daiquiris and bathing suit in the sun on the deck, and I don't do anything except paint my nails. Is that the life?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
If you're in an office working for IBM in Chicago on the 72nd floor of the Sears building, we're like living the glamorous life.
Pumping bilge.
Well, yeah, on a boat and stuff.
No, I am grateful for
I know,
being grateful. This is not the fun part.
Yeah, I know, we're just trying to be funny.
Hey, look what was in the bilge.
It's like a combination of fuel, oil, and...
Fuel, water, antifreeze.
Ooh. Kind of actually looks like cherry drink. Makes me kind of want to thirsty for... That was nice and cold. Cherry with... Yeah, it looks edible.
Okay.
Okay, now that everything is all cleaned up, it's time to start the engine up and let the engine run for a while, especially at the higher RPMs, and then see where exactly it's leaking. Hey, Aim.
Yeah? Oh.
I'm going to put start putting the RPMs up. All right,
Okay.
So it's probably not leaking out low RPM. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay, so once you went up to that highest RPM.
It's 2,000 RPM.
Yeah, okay, so now we've got, and it's up top here.
Ooh, it smells like fuel.
Right at the top. See here?
Mm-hmm.
And see this screw here?
Mm-hmm.
Can't show it. There we go.
All right, I'm going to take the...
See that screw there? Look how wet it is there. And it's really wet below it now.
Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off so I can attend to it better.
So we were able to identify the source of the leak was this screw, which was really loose. So Vinny got the wrench and tightened it up really well, and we'll have to see. I was so relieved when I saw that there was no leaking after Vinny tightened the screw, because we were really thinking this could be a multi-$100 repair, but it looks like it might just be a loose screw. Hey Vin, we fixed it.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Okay, all the stuff, all the places. Yeah, that's dry. Dry.
Great. Now we can head out first thing in the morning at first light. Get moving.
Sounds good to me.